Hi, my name is Kelvin Newman and welcome to the Brighton SEO podcast, where we share talks from one of the world's most popular search marketing conferences. The event started out as a few people meeting in an upstairs room of a pub and is now attended by over 3,000 people from all over the world. This episode is a recording of one of the speakers at a recent event. We've got another great session to close out this one on SERPs. So I'm really pleased, someone who we've wanted to have speak at Brighton SEO for a very long time. I'm glad we were able to make it possible. If we could have a big round of applause for Duane, everybody.
Hey gang, how is everybody this morning? Thank you, I love you. Best 20 pounds I've ever spent right there. Okay, so I have a question before I get started. Are you guys a good audience? Or are you a shit audience? Oh, self-identified as shitty audience. Okay, nice. Okay, so I actually want to do something with you guys this morning that I haven't done before. And I think it's kind of a cornerstone for the reason that you're actually here. Or at the very least, it's something that will serve you well decades from now. And this is going to require your involvement. Are you guys ready? Okay, first off, someone has to take a photo of me up here on this amazing stage. Send it to me. But that's not it. I want everyone to stand up right now. Everyone. Don't shortcut this. I don't care if you have a hangover. Get off your ass. I'm going to give you 1 minute. You need to introduce yourself to somebody you don't know who's near you. Shake hands, name, company, because this is why you come to these conferences. It's about networking. Everybody that I know in this industry got here because we built our networks. This is awesome. This is fantastic, guys. I see some guys over here not talking to anybody. What the hell is with that? Come on, talk to people. Not Christoph, don't talk to him, he's too obvious. Or do you guys not know anybody? You gotta talk to each other. All right, guys, another 30 seconds. Why do these people need to know you? Are you worth knowing? Yes, you are, absolutely. I see you guys over here, you're not talking to anybody. What's going on with that? Come on, talk it. Give a hug, a big hug, come on. Group hug, there we go. There we go. All right, sit down, you're done. I have a presentation to give, come on, work with me here. All right, now for our next group exercise, I want everybody to go outside and jump in the ocean. No? You're not going to do that, but you are, okay. Keep your clothes on, though. I just want to cover that right now. Keep your clothes on. All right, so for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Duane Forrester. I've got about a 20-year career at this point in the marketing industry. Started with Caesar's Palace, went to a small startup in Canada, which last year was purchased for, I think, 53 million or something. I was on the board of directors with Sempo. Who has a career in this industry? Raise your hand, or wants a career in this industry. What the fuck are the rest of you doing here? Just curious, walking by to a conference, let's go, All right, let the record state, you all have a career or want a career in the industry. Go to Sempo, look up the salary survey data at Sempo. It is probably the leading information on salary information, and it is global, the data that they collect. I know that because I started that survey a decade plus ago. Worked for Microsoft for a while. Anyone here using Bing Webmaster Tools? Raise your hand, you're welcome. I launched that in 2012. Thank you for using it, the 7 of you. That's awesome. Wrote a couple of books, ran Bruce Clay Incorporated for a while, and now I work with Yext. If you want to know more about Yext, we have an amazing booth out front with awesome people. Swing by, sales pitch done. Let's talk about influentials. Influentials, yeah. Everybody knows what this is, right? You want to get somebody who is in front of a large group of people, and you want them to espouse the virtues of your product or your service. It's a great idea. My team at Bing used to do this. It was fantastic. Has anyone seen the movie Sharknado? Yeah, so I was a part of that marketing team, the PR team that actually had Bing in there, right? Yeah, I don't get it, but influencer marketing, right? But here's what's fascinating about this. Traditional celebrities are losing ground at an ever-increasing pace to YouTube celebrities. I spent yesterday afternoon, thankfully got here in time, I had a meeting with a gentleman who has the largest following of people on YouTube in the guitar category. He runs a guitar company out of here. He crowdsources all of the decisions for the products. It's a distributed network of production around the world. There's a new model that's changing how guitars are made and distributed. And that's based right here in Brighton. So I couldn't wait to get together with him yesterday and pick his brain about a few things. But it's people like that, those are the new influencers. This data is straight from YouTube. 4 in 10 millennial subscribers, their favorite creator understands them better than their friends. I say choose better friends, but that's just me, you know? YouTube creators, their information, their pull, their reach is developing faster than ever. This is no longer fringe medium. If you're not involved there, you are losing ground, unquestionably about it. In fact, if you look at the shift in how people are consuming information, engagement versus push is becoming the new paradigm. Now, if you're in this room, you probably already have a sense of this. You probably already know it. But there are a lot of you going to go back to companies who still don't know this, who still think that the way to engage with people is to constantly tweet out, here's an offer I have, use my product, click on my link, engage with this. They think that that push model is what they're required to do. And that is not the case at all. It is truly about engagement. Was anybody following my Facebook over the last 48 hours? It's a disaster, canceled flights, stranded at an airport in Detroit. You know, Delta Airlines was actually pretty responsive to me. And it's fantastic that they have that kind of program and you can have those conversations directly with a person who will dig in and try to help you. More importantly, they thread the conversation so that one person goes off shift, the next person can pick it up and continue that engagement. Makes me feel really good. Doesn't solve my problem, but makes me feel good when I'm in that moment. So now let's take a look at some things that are coming. There are going to be major shifts in all of this, right? And you heard Christoph and you heard the guys, everybody up here so far today, talking about links and data and all of this. I'm going to talk to you about a couple other things. These are important ideas that have been shared earlier, but I'm going to talk to you about some things that are truly going to shake up the industry that you are in or entering, because some of you obviously don't have jobs yet in this industry. So we'll see what this does. First off, does anybody not know that mobile is like the most important thing to focus on? Did anybody here not get the memo? Dude who wants to go swimming, do you not get that memo? You got it, okay. Just want to make sure, right? So right now, there are still a large number of websites that are not mobile friendly. Businesses still talking about going mobile friendly, don't quite know how. Our investment is coming later this year. We're starting to sort out the details. You're already behind the curve if you're not there. That's it. When I was with Bing, I was talking about this, telling businesses, you have to get ahead of this curve. You have to make this happen. You have to plan for it. And all the businesses said, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. It's expensive. We do this. MDOT, yeah. And I'd be, MDOT, don't do that. Responsive design, go get it done. And here we are 4 years later, and I'm still talking to some of those large corporations, and they're like, yeah, we're going to invest in it. And it's terrible. They haven't done it. It's incredibly important, right? And there's some good reasons why. We're seeing investments in mobile that are unprecedented, and not in hardware and software, although Apple just announced iOS 11 and all these new changes and the new iPhone 10 and whatnot. But we're seeing a deep investment in assistance and in AI. And this leads to a very deep revolution that is about to hit us in voice search. Does anyone have an Amazon Alexa or a Google Home? Okay, very few people, that's okay. This will become your life. Everybody's got a mobile device, obviously. You've got Siri, you've got Google Now, right? Okay, anyone have Cortana? I do. Yay, Cortana. Anybody use Cortana? Yeah, okay. We'll get there, right? But what's really important about this is that apps, these mobile devices, this consumes 50% of our time. We are in an app experience. That's where people are spending their time today. On a mobile device, inside an app. So how does that work with your search efforts? You have to factor these things in. And what's fascinating is, across most areas in the world, subscriber growth is stagnating for mobile carriers. This is a big deal. I mean, you can see the graph. What the graph is talking about here are the number of mobile handsets, 7.4 billion on our planet, versus our population, 7.3 billion. We have more devices than we have people. And I'm pretty sure that's because people in countries like this, and the countries I come from, I'm Canadian, but I live in America, we have 2 and 3 devices because I doubt anybody in the Sudan has multiple devices. So we are huge consumers of all things via mobile. The carriers have to find alternate ways to make revenue because net new phones are not increasing. That's why we're moving into areas of increased dependence on data-driven services, artificial intelligence embedded, and assistance, digital assistance. So it's no surprise to anyone, 50% of our web traffic today is mobile, right? I know there's going to be a couple of sessions throughout the day today. I highly encourage you, if you have the chance, there's one speaker, she's a good friend of mine, Cindy Crum, go see her. I would call out Emily and tell you to go see her, but she's speaking right now, so don't leave here. Right? I love Emily, don't leave here to go see her. All right, so this, I think, yeah, there we go. I always have animation that I forget about these. So we have seen, up until this year, a very, very precipitous rise in near me related queries. And the whole point of this is I'm looking for a restaurant near me, a movie near me, whatever it happens to be, a dry cleaner near me. And that was obvious. Earlier this year, and I mean like very recently, in the last month or two, Google put out notice that that actual trend is starting to flatten. We're starting to see the top of that curve where people are not saying near me anymore. Now what that means is general consumers now understand, and the general consumer group as a base is the hardest group to influence for any business. To get your message and to get them to take the action you want takes multiple touch points over a period of time, and in many different ways. But they've got this message now. They understand they no longer have to say near me. It's implied, it's assumed, and the systems, the assistants, and all of the data backs that up. Google is just, well, we know you mean near you. I mean, you're on your mobile device. You're obviously not in your office. You're on the street corner. You want the nearest restaurant. This is the nearest restaurant. They get that. 76% of people who actually use location search visit a business. So this has very real-world implications on local businesses, for example. And 28% of that, almost a third, results in a purchase. So these mobile devices, if you have a bricks and mortar business, this is mission critical for you. This drives people to your door and puts money in your cash register every time. And it's a little surprising, I think, to people how much an average business can manage. There are hundreds of attributes that any business can manage. If you're a web-based business, you've got a bunch of these things. You won't have things that are name, address, phone number, hours of operation, that kind of thing. If, however, you are a local-based business, you will have hundreds of attributes that you can control and manage. And you need to take advantage of that. The more you do that on your own, the less you leave it up to Bing and to Google to make those decisions for you. And who here thinks it's a good idea to let that search engine decide your fate? The answer is no. Nobody. Okay, good. Good. Everybody gets this. All right, let's take a quick look here at voice search. So, context is huge in voice search. I know that there are devices available throughout UK and throughout Europe. There are going to be more. I think this year there were 150 factories in China spun up to produce voice-activated systems that rival Alexa and Google Home. So that means any brand you can think of, whether it's LG, Samsung, brands you've never heard of, are suddenly going to be available this coming holiday season for people to buy. And it's going to have all of this data layer baked in from the major players and be able to do all of this. It's a digital land grab, people just trying to create their footprint out there and capture a part of the market, right? So we actually see this happening across all of these devices. And context is massive in this. I highly, highly recommend that you guys take a look at some of the videos that Google has produced around this, explaining how you actually get context into machine learning and how the systems operate. So I can ask my Google Assistant, how tall is the Eiffel Tower? And it will tell me how tall it is. And then if I ask it, is there a restaurant nearby with 4 stars or better? It understands implicitly that I mean a restaurant nearby the Eiffel Tower. As humans, we get that instantaneously. Machines don't understand that, but now they're starting to. So Amazon Echo, It's got a great control interface. It's awesome. It's easy to link to your Prime account. Shopping is good. It's as easy as wishing for a product. But there are some stumbling blocks with it because it reads off what the product is. If you don't automatically understand that that is the actual product you want, you're still going to want to go look it up online and then complete the transaction. So that's fairly straightforward. There's no mapping ability. I spent a great deal of time last week asking it what traffic was like to LAX, and it kept saying, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that yet. And Google nails it every time. Siri nails it. Cortana nails it. So there are a lot of differences between all of these systems, you know. Cortana is limited by hardware. It doesn't come in an embedded phone from Microsoft anymore, but there is the Harman Invoke, which is a speaker for your house. That's coming out this fall, so it will be there. Google Home and the Assistant, they're fantastic, but they're somewhat limited in their shopping ability. They did sign an agreement recently with Amazon or with Walmart in the US, so that will help bolster that shopping experience. But the bottom line with all of this is we're seeing all of the major manufacturers very tentatively but actively try to seek out new spaces for themselves to carve customer loyalty. And they're doing that in the home. AI is powering this, and it's going to have a big impact on us. So what can you guys do? Well, the general overall trend here is be useful. That's all well and good. But there are very discrete things that you have to take an action on in order to be successful in voice search and that area. If you've ever used voice search or seen it used, you understand one thing instantaneously about it. How many results are there in voice search? There we go. You were right, you're a shitty audience. Okay, because that was like an obvious opportunity for you to go, 1. Okay, let's try that again. How many results are there in voice search? 1. Yeah, I'll take it. It's fine, it's better than the first time. Moving on, right? Okay, build detailed answers. You want to claim, you need to mark up your content, and you want to claim that answer box in Google. You want that to be you, which starts with doing your research diligently and understanding it. Now, I know for a fact that the mobile data, or sorry, the voice search data is actually bundled right now in Google search. So when you look at your data and your keyword information, it's not broken out based on what was voice search or what was not voice searched. So it's in there, but there are clues. Because while the consumers have trained themselves not to say near me in their queries anymore, they tend to use more natural language search when they do voice search. They speak out loud in full sentences. Can you find me the nearest barbecue restaurant in Brighton? There you go. That query will show up. A lot of the stop words, the little ones, they'll be pulled out of there, but you'll be able to construct it. You'll understand their intent. You have to make sure that your entire website is clean and accessible. And Christoph alluded to something about this earlier, right? Which is you're judged on your home and how clean it is. And that's the bare minimum that the engines are looking for. So you have to stand head and shoulders above that. Mobile friendly matters because that's where this is happening. And although these speakers are in our homes, you still have to be mobile friendly, and you have to secure your site. We're at a point now where HTTPS is very quickly going to become the norm and not something that is an option. So just the way we thought about whether it was mobile 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when everyone moved to mobile friendly, now we have to move to secure. That's the reality that we all face. Speaking of secure, there's no inherent reward for being secure, right? It's just going to be an expectation. Consumers will be trained on this. When I was with Bing, one of the things we did was actually graph out the adoption curves that we thought were naturally going to happen for something new. So if you've been around a while, you remember when Robot.txt was launched. You remember when schema.org was launched. When we start those programs, we have graphs, and Google does the same. And the graph is, how long is it going to take to get a penetration number that makes a difference that we want to see at the search engine? And when we launched schema.org, the nominal idea was that within 5 years, we would be at X percentage of adoption, and that would give us the data that we needed. Not even close. Rel Canonical did the same thing. We launched Rel Canonical and thought, hey, this is awesome, and saw the spike and then saw the whole thing flatten off, and for years, it didn't go anywhere. And that's not good. That's not good for you, and it's not good for the engines. Because if they stop supporting it and you're still doing something, you're wasting time and you're not getting any value. But things like HTTPS, these are not you do it and you get a boost in rankings. These are going to become the expected new normal. Big domains, they still haven't shifted yet, right? Dr. Pete did this great survey on this and was taking a look at where we think the results are going to be by the end of 2017. They're going to get closer and closer, but the largest brands, the largest domains are still struggling to get there. There's an awesome article from Wired.com. They detailed every step of their migration to secure, everything that failed, everything that worked. They detailed it all. So look that up and you will see the reality of what it takes to migrate large companies, large domains. Augmented reality. Is anyone excited about this? I am. I want to send somebody else to work in my place. It's not quite augmented reality, right? Kelvin's sleeping in the van over here, by the way. I don't know if you guys noticed that, right? But there's a dull snoring sound coming from the Volkswagen bus. It's Kelvin. So you have to mark up if you want to play in this area, right? So again, we're back to schema.org. We're back to all of these factors, right? You have to digitize your products. IKEA is doing a great job of this. They're digitizing their entire inventory so that you can walk around your home with your phone and their app and go, hey, that sofa looks good there. Oh, my kitchen would look beautiful like that. That is going to be a huge driver of business for companies, for any companies. And this is the beauty of this. This levels the playing field. Everybody can participate in this. Whether you're a big brand or a small brand, doesn't matter. Everybody can participate in this. So some tactics of successful brands. Now, these are the, I think, top 12 brands that I have in here, and it's really important to understand the things that these guys do and how they attract that connectivity with the generations of shoppers, okay? They have loyalty programs with no attachments. Come, go, whatever, there's no fees, nothing, that's all fine, right? They actually reward you for social media engagement. Kohl's, a US retailer, if you like their stuff on Pinterest and engage with it, you accumulate points, which you can then shop with at their stores to buy clothing. That is awesome. I click, I like, I do all of this, I go in, I get $10 off my next purchase. That is a huge loyalty builder, right? These guys are also doing something very critical, which is blending their programs together. SEO, PPC, social media, all of these things are coming together in a way that has oversight so that the company itself understands the true value they get, and they also don't cannibalize each other. So I mentioned this earlier, YouTube. Cannot forget this. It is hugely important. This next generation of consumers that are coming up, whether you want to think of it as the millennials or after that, Gen Z, very visual consumers of information. If you don't have that, you're missing it. And it can be as simple as create your video, publish it, go ahead and take your transcript from it and put it in there, and you've got everything covered for all your different visitors, right? Again, markup, mobility, usability, secure, right? Reviews matter, but you need to engage with people. You need to do it authentically and legitimately. There's a lot of change coming in the review world that is very important to understand. Shortcuts and automated reviews, those are very quickly going to die. And if you're in that pile right now, reviewing or relying on that stuff, those reviews are going to come to hurt you. So you have to be ready for that. And the customer journey, I can't stress this enough. Create personas. Focus on who they are, what they want, their socioeconomic situation, what their actual household incomes look like. And then create personas for customers you do not want. Because when you do that, you allow yourself the ability to ensure that the marketing you do is targeted at the correct person and not the incorrect person. You don't want that. You want to just stay away from that demographic, stay with the ones that love you, take the value from it. Now, this is my last slide. I'm going to ask you again, who here wants a career in this industry? Okay, this is the future of what you're working toward. Digital Knowledge Manager. Now, this isn't something I made up either. This is a project that's been near and dear to my heart for years. I've been working toward doing this. My company supported me in developing this and bringing it forward. And then we come to find out that there are companies in America who actually have this job. There's a company called School of Rock. Sam Dresser is their Vice President of Knowledge and Digital Knowledge and Engagement. And his job is to know every single digital asset that business has, every single physical asset that business has, all of the people that control all of those facets, and get them linked together so that every piece of every marketing program pays dividends across all areas of that company. Glenn May over at T-Mobile does the same thing. It's a lot less formal with Glenn. It just happens to be that he's been there a decade and he's got the network internally and he knows it. But when one group is spinning up something, Glenn knows exactly who to connect them with. That helps with budget analysis. That helps with non-cannibalization of products. That helps with clean messaging. It helps with all types of different things. And this is the type of job that does it. In fact, we pitched this job at an event that we had back in the US, and there was a healthcare company that loved it so much that 2 weeks later they pinged me and said, will you write me a job description for this? Because we want to post this job and we want to hire a person for it. So this is something this is the next step in your career. This is where it goes. And this is what you're striving for. The days of, I want to be the director of SEO, I want to be the director of PPC, these kinds of things, those are flatlining. This is the future. Being able to bring all of that information into one location and benefit your company, make sure everything is coming up roses for you. All right, this is it. I am going to put this up on SlideShare for you guys so that you'll be able to take it from there if you want to. Other than that, I just want to say thank you very much for having me at Brighton.
This was originally recorded at a Brighton SEO conference. If you want to listen to more episodes or find out about the conference itself, you can do at brightonseo.com.